Basically, this generation is more liberal, more tolerant, more Democrat-leaning than the one before. It's not just because they're young.
For another point of view, it's Hard News with Russell Brown and Whammo on Kiwi.
Here's the chap over at publicaddress.net, the Hard News blog, Media 7 show on TVNZ7, and I think he's having a hell of a morning this morning. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning.
You just didn't spill your coffee everywhere, did you?
I did just spill my coffee everywhere. It's a delicious espresso, and I was moving stuff on my desk, and I sat down and I spilled my coffee.
Oh, man.
But not on my side of the desk, on my darling, so I've got some explaining.
Oh, good. I mean, what? You've got some explaining to do.
I've got some explaining to do. We have side-by-side workstations, and guess whose side I've spilled the coffee on, not mine.
Well, we'll try and keep it short so that things don't soak in too much.
Mm-hmm.
You've been thinking about the Rugby World Cup and doing a wee bit of a tour around the main stadium, Eden Park.
Yeah, well, it's been sort of interesting because we've been looking at this coming up towards us for quite some time. And I had my first experience of the all-new Eden Park with its new systems and the systems around it on Saturday night, going to the Super 15 match there. Blues versus Hurricanes, and it was weird because I had never seen Wairepo Swamp Walk. I go down that part of Sandringham Road, the bit by New North Road, not that infrequently. I'd never noticed that they've knocked out 4 houses, I think, by the look of it, and they've whacked in a great big wide pedestrian concourse that's officially a road.
Yeah,
because that's the only way they could get the NZTA to pay for it. But wow, it gives the impression when you're there that the entire neighbourhood is somehow inside the boundaries of the stadium.
Right. Yeah.
Which is quite an odd feeling, and I do think that the World Cup upgrades have changed things forever for that neighbourhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you look at it, you think, well, okay, well, dice cast now. Maybe it would have been better to have looked a little bit longer at the Waterfront Stadium. But, of course, now we're getting at least the 2 extra quarterfinals from Christchurch. There's going to be quite a lot going on in Auckland.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty intense, isn't it, towards the end of the year?
And I'm not quite sure whether we're perfectly well prepared for it. I mean, there's 3 main things, as far as I can see, going on. There's around the park. Yeah. There's Queen's Wharf, which is so-called Party Central.
Where are we at with that?
Lord knows. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on there.
They took away one of the sheds, didn't they? That's gone.
Yeah, they took away one of the sheds. I'm not sure that there's that much else going on. But on the other hand, down by Wynyard Quarter, which is by the tank farm end of town, there has demonstrably been quite a lot going on down there. And there's going to be the whole market will be redeveloped, where the food market is there. There's going to be a tram.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, the tram tracks have been going in over the past 6 weeks, couple of months.
Is it going to be useful? Where's it going to go?
Oh, round in the circle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it will actually go into town. I mean, it's going to be quite nice. I dread to think, what the cost-benefit ratio is. But it is, that is going to be quite nice in the future. It's going to be good open space. And various things that are being done will actually be quite good, even down to Western Springs Stadium, the ground there, because it's going to be a practice ground, is for the World Cup teams, has had an upgrade.
Okay.
That's got a new surface. So, there's quite a few things that actually are going to pay off quite well for the city in the longer term,
but is it going to? Well, is it like the sweeping concourses around Eden Park? I mean, is that going long term going to be useful at all?
Only if we start using Eden Park a hell of a lot more.
But it'll just return to what, Super 12, the odd cricket game, the odd All Blacks game. There's not going to be. We're not going to have these major world events there, are we?
Probably not. But I think there's going to have to be more events to make it make sense, basically. Because we've now got a piece of that. We've spent. Oh God, I haven't got the figure in front of me. We've spent a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars on redeveloping the park. Our share of it as ratepayers, never mind the government share. So now we actually partly own this asset, and there is going to be pressure to use it more often. I mean, there's already talk of the Warriors coming in and using Eden Park, because it is a really well set up venue now. You know, the whole ticketing thing is brilliant compared to how bad it used to be.
Yeah.
You know, that works really well. It feels really modern and efficient. It would be kind of a shame for the Warriors to come in, though, because you're talking about a much bigger ground where you're further away from the action. But I wouldn't be surprised. I think people seem to be falling out of love with Mount Smart Stadium. So
it seems like one thing we are missing, though, is a locally produced mockumentary series for the organising committee for the Rugby World Cup, much like the new one called 2012.
Yes.
For in the UK,
and like the game.
The game, yeah.
That would have been great. Although I hear that you know, I think reality may have been funnier than satire at times down there. I gather that at one point Murray McCully and Jerry Brownlee, the two Rugby World Cup ministers, were not speaking.
Really?
And were communicating via intermediaries. Murray McCully has been pissing off other agencies and empire building. But that's Murray McCully. That's how he works.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they've got it sorted out now, but certainly last year for a while, people were getting hot under the collar.
Well, now
about the way things were going. On the other hand, though, I think that Martin Snedden is a capable and savvy chief executive.
Yeah.
I think he knows what he's doing, and of course they've had to make the difficult but I think inevitable decision that Christchurch was not a suitable venue to host Rugby World Cup games.
And now Jerry Brownlee.
For them, but
well, that's right. And Jerry Brownlee's safely tucked away there in Christchurch.
Yeah. And there was actually, I'm trying to think who it was, someone actually picked it perfectly, that the way that the bad news would be announced, John Key would be nowhere near it. He wouldn't, and in fact he wasn't. He wasn't even in Parliament,
no.
So he couldn't even be asked about it there. He hid in his office. He sent McCully down. McCully made the Rugby World Cup and IRB people do it. So there was a great deal of successive distancing by people on it, on that announcement.
It's pretty transparent, and if people can't see that, I mean, they've got their heads in the sand. I mean, he was the guy going, oh yeah, we might be able to do it, might be able to do it, might be able to do it, and then walked away when they couldn't do it.
Exactly. I thought it was a bit bizarre, drunk. But I mean, he never seems to suffer those sorts of consequences, does he? He raised false hopes in a position where he surely knew that there
straight
was
away.
No prospect at all.
Yeah.
So he spends 2 weeks saying that.
Yeah.
Rather than preparing people for the bad news.
Yeah.
He spends 2 weeks raising people's hopes, and no one blames him.
The smiling assassin.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
He's brilliant in that respect. Thanks very much, Russell.
Okay, cheers.
Get back to that coffee emergency.
Yeah,
See ya.
bye.
Russell Brown at publicaddress.net and the Media 7 show on TV.